So my name is Sandy McCuaig. I am the current president of the BC Lymphedema Association. We are putting on these presentations just to help provide education, and Kathlene has a wealth of information. So if you are interested in a specific topic, please email me, please let me know. So Kathlene is from Juzo, Canada and US. She is currently the Western Canada sales manager. She's been a certified compression garment fitter since '98 in all the major brands. She has a background in home health care and pharmacy and has experienced firsthand the relationship between manufacturers, fitters, medical professionals, and clients. And she has a passion for bringing all the stakeholders together and improving the quality of life for people who live with lymphedema. She is a member of the BC Lymphedema Association. She serves on both the membership and advocacy committees and has found great personal satisfaction in helping achieve this. So thank you very much, Kathlene, and know what you're getting into.
Know what you're getting into when you get involved with the BCLA. That's right. That's a whole presentation unto itself. Well, thank you, Sandy. It is always a pleasure, whether I get the chance to meet some of you in person at an event or some of the webinars we've done during the dreaded pandemic. It's just been fun to find people where they are and meet them. And certainly I do have a love of home health care, quality of life, compression garments. I have been involved in the compression industry, as Sandy said, since 1998. I have worked as a fitter. I have people in my family, certainly, that I have helped with various disease states. And I worked for a major pharmacy chain as their home healthcare buyer and trainer nationally. So again, lots of opportunity to meet people and get feedback. I absolutely love working for Juzo. Juzo is a family-owned company, and we are based in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. So just down the street and hop over a border, and you can get there pretty quickly. Juzo has been in the compression garment industry for well over 100 years. And I would say have always considered them to be a lymphedema company first and foremost. If you look at the picture there in the upper left, that is a picture of our family-owned management team. So Mrs. Zorn West in the center and her children, Walter and Petra. I'll let you guess which is which. But Walter looks after the manufacturing side of the business, and Petra looks after sales, marketing, and everybody left over. Very environmentally conscious processing. We own our own wind turbine. We recycle the water that's used in our dye process. I believe we were recycling and blue boxing and composting before those words were even buzzy down in the US, but that's how they are. The factory, they have a whole program against regreening and using native grasses and prairie grasses native to Ohio well over 100 years ago. So a lot of thinking goes on down there, and it certainly does spill over into the garments that we provide. So tonight, I want to talk about literally and pun intended, knowing what you're getting into by way of compression garments. And the four main hits I would like to look at. I would like to review what a compression garment is. Just because I've been doing it forever doesn't mean everyone really has a handle, even when they're wearing them, on what is a compression garment. We want to look at why it's important to managing a variety of disease states. And tonight we're looking at lymphedema, lipedema, vascular disease to a degree. I would like us to look at what makes a good compression garment, because when we know what makes a good garment, well, then we'll know what makes a crap Russian garment. And some of the questions that I would like you to have in your mind when you are choosing a garment. And as we know, the world has opened up and there are a variety of ways to access garments. No longer is it the local pharmacy in town, that's it, that's all. There are lots of ways now that you can obtain compression garments. So, you know, the best consumer is an educated consumer. And when we're aware, perhaps, of some of the things we didn't even know we should know, we can make better choices for ourselves or help the important people in our lives that perhaps need to make those decisions come to better conclusions. Okay. So compression. Well, this is one of those slides. I hate to put a slide up and say, well, we're just going to read this one because we should be able to talk about it. But exactly this, right? I'm looking for the ability of an applied garment to provide constant or gradient pressure to a limb or affected area of the body. We use the word compress. It might be for a cold compress that we put on our forehead because we have a headache and we just want to have some relief. But down here in our medical compression therapy, poor circulation. So graduated compression, I'm going to deep dive on that in a second. That can help manage symptoms. Lymphedema, well, compression garments are specifically designed to comfortably, they should be comfortable, and we hope they are, keep pressure on affected area, drain the lymphatic fluid, minimize swelling or edema, as we call it, and lipedema. Compression stockings or garments can help decrease pain and hypersensitivity. So things that a lipedema client really suffers from. But the old adage, touch overrides pain, especially important and useful for a lipedema client. When we give something that covers the pain, reduces the hypersensitivity, well, then it will also help increase their mobility and minimize their additional issues such as edema, because the compression garment definitely moves fluid when it's applied properly and the fluid is flowing in the right direction. So good compression garment. For me and for a lot of people, it's really these 5 touch points. So we're looking for a garment that has gradient knit. Again, going to deep dive on that in a second. A garment that has a certain fabric, and that can be the weave, that can be the fiber, but the fabric is important. Sizing, clearly we all know correct sizing is important. As Cinderella's sisters found out in the famous shoe story, if the shoe don't fit, you can't wear it. You don't get to marry the prince and live happily ever after. I'm looking for durability. Certainly a compression garment is an investment piece. The best are not inexpensive. So I need something that is going to last and fit my lifestyle. So it has to be able to go with the flow, go where I go, do what my limb needs to do that's wearing the garment. And I also like to have a little look at warranty, because to me, a warranty will speak to the quality of the garment. The old, can you put your money where your big mouth is, Kathlene, I think factors into the warranty part. First up, gradient knit. So again, lovely colorful slide. Between the two gives us an overview of what a gradient knit compression garment is. In this instance, I've chosen to use a lower limb. So when we are wearing a compression garment, they are given to us in classes or ranges of compression. And the compression is a pressure of millimeters of mercury taken at the distal end, or typically the smallest circumference of the limb. So in a lower leg, that would be a measurement taken at the ankle. And the range, let's say medical grade for us in a circular knit garment, or what we typically call circular or seamless, because we don't see a visible seam holding the garment together, might be a range of 20 to 30 millimeters of mercury compression. Or if it was a flat knit, so a garment where we knit it flat on the loom, bring the two sides together, and the closure is a seam, which is flat as well, diabetic friendly, all that good stuff. But a flat knit garment, because of the weave of the fabric, they work on a different compression class system. So a class 1 there would be what we call 18 to 21 millimeters of mercury pressure. Going back to the circular knit of a 20 to 30, which is a very standard first range or measurement, 100%. So the 20 to 30 should be strongest or the most within its range at the ankle. And then if it was 20 to 30 there, that pressure, that high compression should gradually ease off. And there's the word gradual or graduate or gradient, as we have here. By the time the garment reaches just at the calf, we're looking at about 70% worth of its overall pressure, working its way up to the top of the garment, should be 25 to 0. Really should be very close to 25 to 0 at the very top or the finish of the garment. It can't be completely 0 because we have to be able to hold the garment up, and a band isn't always going to do it for us. But you get the idea that if you were wearing the garment, you would feel, right, the pressure the most at your ankle, and then you should be able to feel it easing off as we get to the top of the garment. If it were an arm sleeve, we should feel highest pressure right around our wrist. And then by the time it gets up to the armpit or the finish of the garment, it should be easing off and just be comfortable enough to stay in place and still apply a very minimal level of compression at that point. All of the top brands in the world will knit gradient compression therapy. So ourselves at Juzo, of course, this is going to be a Juzo-based presentation because maybe my boss is secretly signed in under an alias and he's watching. But your top brands, so your Juzo, your Jobst, your Medivan, your Sigvaris, we are all gradient knit companies. And while that used to be a rarity, or you had to look for that, that was a question you had to ask. Now it is pretty much the norm, but you will find companies out there, and you're going to see some as I go through my presentation, where we can't be sure whether or not they are gradient knit. Okay, if it's not gradient knit, you may have an inverse, and you don't want that because that won't move the fluid effectively, in this case, out of the lower limb. If I had hardly anything around my ankle as far as pressure, that would allow the fluid to pool. Gravity alone would be pulling it down, and you would be creating cankles, severe edema at the bottom of the limb, and it's dangerous. As I go on in my presentation, you're going to hear a little bit more about that. Okay, so gradient knit compression. Juzo, as I said, we are a gradient knit compression company as well. We are the only ISO certified medical device manufacturer in the world. So not because we have to be, because we want to be. At Juzo, we believe compression garments are medical devices, right? We say it's medicine you wear. Incredibly, if you could do the same thing with a pill, you'd be paying big money. But we are ISO certified. We quality control test our products and control our own manufacturing process in Ohio, as I showed you earlier. And again, all of my garments are gradient knit. Okay, so here, a little show of some upper and lower extremity garments. Not the jeans, but the other things, definitely properly knit. Okay. I was looking around, and as soon as I feel like there's a body out there that's listening to every word or sees me Google something like gradient knit, because now my social media is flooded with all these crazy manufacturers and their crazy product. But this one has been around for a while. They're called Sleep Slimmers, and their claim to fame, they reduce swelling. They don't say how they're going to reduce swelling. They just say that they are leg shapers and they ease tired, swollen legs, and they're perfect to wear. That's it. Okay, but they're available online, and whether they are gradient knit, whether they're safe for you or not, we don't know. Okay. Fabric and fibers. Well, it didn't say anything about the fabric or the fiber they're using, nor more than it did say anything about gradient knit. So what do we need to look for? Well, my lipedema clients really like microfiber. Microfiber is thick enough that you feel the fabric. And again, touch overriding pain, very important. But microfiber is also highly breathable and anti-odor, antimicrobial. Cotton is a great one, right? Cotton's been around. Many people like it. And if they have skin disease, psoriasis, they just find cotton very soothing. So all of my groups like a cotton. And silver. Silver can be really, really useful. We're going to touch on it in a minute. So here at Juzo, we definitely offer garments knit with cotton. We knit garments in silver, and both we find to be really comfortable. They're safe, they're natural, right? Just as wearing compression garments, again, it's not a pill you take, it's a medicine you wear. Here we have some fabrics that really allow you to fit comfortably. Right. Also at Juzo, we do some very nice things in our garments that that just make them a higher quality. Our garments are latex free, so we don't use natural rubber as our elastomer. So that means we are hypoallergenic. Everyone can wear them. We have two-way stretch, so for getting the garments on and off, because again, that's something that people who wear compression really struggle with. With our two-way stretch, we have the crossways and we have the lengthways stretch for getting those garments on and off. We do something called FiberSoft technology. And what FiberSoft technology does is it double covers the elastomer. So if you think of the elastic as being that straight green line across the top, we cover it in one direction and then we go back the other direction. It makes the garment, pardon me, I'm going to take a little water here, easier to get on and off because the elastic, which would stick to the skin, is now covered. So the garment can slide on by and slide back off. And it just makes the fabric nicer against the skin because you're feeling the fiber of the fabric. The last little symbol at the bottom there is our symbol for something called inlay. So the key to controlling compression or a compression garment for us is an additional thread. So it's called an inlay thread that we knit into the garment. It's certainly done at an additional cost, but what it does is it keeps the weave of the fabric from going too far in any direction. So it's not pulling to the left, it's not pulling to the right, it's not trying to slide up and down. It helps keep your weave level and in sync on the limb. Oh, Tommy Copper, boy, I didn't want to put this slide up, but Tommy's everywhere, I got to tell you. So the Tommy Copper, again, some claims to fame here for their fabric, cushion, heel, and toe. Okay, if you say you have a cushion, heel, and toe, I'm not going to fight you. Ergonomic design, it's possible. The copper, well, how much copper do we need? And does Tommy Copper have enough copper to be helpful? I will absolutely concede that copper eliminates the growth of microbes. UPV protection, they're claiming 50+ protection on their garments. So that's quite a high rating for ultraviolet protection. If I look at the Skin Cancer Foundation, they list manufacturers, Columbia Sports Apparel, Callaway Golf Apparel. Tommy Copper is not on their list. Pardon me. Neither is Juzo though. And to be fair, to get high UPV protection, and that actually stands for ultraviolet protective fabric, which is a rating given to fabrics versus sunscreen. You would have to have dark color. So there's a dark color shown there, but you need a very, very snug weave. So if I had Tommy in hand, I would take his sock and I would pull it. And if I can see light coming through, then I highly doubt that I have a UPV of 50+. The other thing to remember for me from a Juzo perspective is because all of my garments are latex free with no rubber, you can still use lotions, right? So, my lymphedema clients, you're encouraged to use lotion to keep your skin in great condition. And absolutely, you can use sunscreen. So I would say, trial your sunscreen, find a sunscreen that you don't react with, right? It might be banana boat, might be copper tone, might be something else entirely. But I'd rather you put your sunscreen on your body first and then slid your garment over top to get your UPV protection than paid for a very expensive garment. You can see in the lower right-hand side how much Tommy Copper socks are going for. Then you buy a sock that you might have a reaction to whatever treatment or solution they're putting on the sock to achieve that UPV protection rating. Okay. Size chart. So sizing, sizing is everything, right? The fit is everything. For my lymphedema clients, many of the garments are custom or what we call made to measure, just because the limbs typically don't fit into a ready-to-wear sizing chart. But I certainly do have clients. Christine Chandler comes to mind and some of the nice arm sleeves she's been wearing. So if you look at my size charts there, 6 ranges of 6, multiple lengths in my lower extremities. range of 5 or 6 different sizes. Again, multiple lengths available just to help people get into ready to wear. Ready to wear, because it's ready to wear, not custom, is typically ready to ship and less expensive. And that would be a truism for myself and all the manufacturers, right? We do try to provide ready to wear product just to help get people into garments sooner. These little gems I found called the Ease Leap. Well, they certainly are fun and fashionable. I mean, I've got to give it up. I would know my socks in a crowd if I was wearing one of these, but looking at their size charts, they only offer 2 sizes, a small medium and a large extra large. So if you're a lady and you're a small medium, that is anywhere from a shoe size 6 to a shoe size 10 and one length. And if you're a gentleman, you can see there on the chart, right? 5 to 9 and 9 to 13. So that's a lot of foot trying to fit in a very small space, and no accommodation for someone who might be 5'5" versus someone who might be 6'5". That's a little bit tough. With us over at Juzo, our power socks would be my fun and funky comparables. And there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sizes in my product, and really trying to maximize the foot ranges and capture as many pieces as possible so that in a ready to wear sock, we're able to fit you more accurately. Also too, in my Vibe or my power socks, will offer 2 lengths. So again, looking to accommodate that as the foot changes, we're pretty sure the height is going to change, and can we get you successfully into socks that are going to fit you? Durability and warranty. Well, these are great questions you should ask. How do I care for my socks or my arm sleeve or my vest or whatever the piece is that you've purchased? And what is the warranty? So, oh, I have a frog in my throat. So for us at Juzo, all of our products can go in the washer, and all of our products absolutely should go in the dryer. So that's quite a bit different than the old hand wash and hang to dry. And hand wash and hang to dry typically becomes the guideline when the elastomer in your garment is natural rubber. Natural rubber, like elastic bands, do not prefer the dryer. For us at Juzo, our elastomer is man-made, and in fact needs the dryer at least every second or third wash, because it's what resets the compression and allows you to start again. So great ease of care there. Warranty, so we warranty all of our garments for 3 months as a minimum, so 90 days. And we're pretty generous with that warranty, even in and around 90 days. Really hope the boss is not on this webinar, but we are. Okay. Other things to consider. So the Sleep Slimmers, oh, they have bad news. They're going to have to restock. They might run out. Well, that is a problem, because a lot of things come on the market. They're there for a little while and then poof, they're gone the next day. If you like it, how are you going to get more? Us over at Juzo, we do maintain constant inventory. We do control our own manufacturing, purchasing of our own raw materials. We ship very quickly. And we also look after any product coming into Canada. We look after your customs, your duty, your applicable taxes. You want to be careful. The Sleep Slimmers, I worked out the cost, and they were $70 US plus freight. And if your box gets tagged at customs, you will have to pay duty. And your duty on a garment can be up to $60, $70. It just depends on how they look at the invoice. So you can pay as much as you paid for your product in duty and taxes, and that is not something that the shipper is going to pick up. So buyer beware. If your box is selected to be checked, it could be selected to be checked, and you would get a hefty bill when it finally makes its way over. Also from us, we do offer trend colors. We do have prints. There are fun and funky things that go along with my sizing and warranty and guarantees. And we offer options, lots of options. So For my clients, if they need zippers to get those socks on, you need a little comfort patch behind the knee. We do other products in compression, not just upper or lower extremity. So that's something that keeps the ball rolling for us at Juzo. And never be afraid to ask if there's something you think you need or would like. And as a final reminder, if you wouldn't order your drugs online and, take the mix that comes as in the picture, what a cocktail that one is. We wouldn't want you ordering garments online or from a risky source, because honestly, these are pictures and these aren't even the worst ones I've ever been sent, but I get a lot of photos in my inbox that say, oh, I have this client and she bought a pair of this, or she got a sleeve from here and didn't realize, and it's been tourniqueting behind the knee, or it's too small, or she's allergic to the fabric and had no idea. And something that's supposed to improve your quality of life ends up causing you more problems. For us, there are danger zones in the circular knit. A tourniquet effect can lead to an amputation. I don't want to be too dramatic, but it has certainly happened. Contribute to the creation of venous ulcers, cellulitis, and just generally impede your not good. In my flat knit, well, it can lead to uncontrolled edema, definitely. Poorly fitting garments or poor fabrics can contribute to cellulitis, and again, impede the flow to get that fluid up and out of the body. What do I want you to do? I want you to protect your investment. Compression garments are an investment. Get an appropriate prescription from your provider. There on the right-hand side just happens to be a Juzo prescription, and up at the top, it's the old, if the limb looks like this is probably the appropriate, prescription range you should be working within. I want everyone to be seen by a certified compression garment fitter. They will have certificates from the major vendors. They'll have come to our classes, have spent a day. We often have medical professionals speaking and helping them learn what to look for medically. And then we teach them as the manufacturers all about measuring and fitting, and how to teach you, our clients or our end users, how to put your stockings on and off, how to show you little tips and tricks or aids for doing that. We want to share with you the best method of garment care, and we want to make sure that you have a warranty and a guarantee that this product is right for you. And if you need help or something needs to be remade or exchanged or returned, I want you to have people that you can go to, not a fill out an online form and hope for the best, or enter the chat and see if you can get it returned. That's not the way to protect an investment that is so closely tied to your long-term health. Right, so the recap, the questions to ask. Is this garment manufactured to my prescribed compression level? Is it measured in size to my limb? Is it gradient knit? What is the fabric content? Was there a discussion about what you needed and what was going to work best for you? Silver is very nice for controlling temperature. I also suggest throwing it in the freezer for 10 minutes before you put it on if you're wearing that garment in the summer. What is the warranty? If I get it home and I wash it and I wear it for 2 or 3 days, and then all of a sudden my thigh high is down around my ankles, what are you going to do for me? How are you going to help me? Because I certainly can't be without a garment, but I definitely need one that fits. And yes, a little shout out to Juzo here. If you wear your quality, you will definitely have better quality of life. I don't know if you'll all be as fancy as these ladies in this picture. I'm certainly not, but they certainly get the message across that there's a lot of bumping good times to be had out there. All right.
Thank you, Kathlene.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
We have a list of questions. Do you want to grab a glass of water or something before we start?
I will chug. Start asking. I'll listen.
Okay, now you may have answered this. It's just not totally clear. Are the garments made in the USA and not Germany?
Oh, you kids, you all get a little bit of information. So the majority of our garments are made in the USA. Mrs. West controls manufacturing in both. There is a small percentage or a small number of our flat knit garments. So most typically our lymphedema garments that are knit in Germany. And the reason is this: in the North American market, we are, I'll say, better than 90% circular knit, ready to wear. And that's based on typically lack of medical benefits or lack of insurance coverage. So we have more of the less expensive. In Europe, very high level of coverage, very high understanding that truly a flat knit garment is stronger in compression, and they have the money and the reimbursement. So their factory is set up to do more of that. I think the day will come very shortly where we will do 100% of the North American market in Ohio, and it would just be an emergency or backup. But yeah, we knit in Germany and then we air freight to Ohio. The garment is dyed, quality checked, and then shipped out. But the consumer, no noticeable difference. You wouldn't know in time, from a time perspective, that it took any longer to come from Germany than being knit in Ohio.
Thank you. So there are some people that just joined at the end. Just so everybody knows, this is recorded. And for the people that have signed up, we'll make the recording available so that you can watch the portion that you guys have missed. So the next question is, where is the compression the strongest on compression shorts?
So like compression shorts, or are we talking a body part? So on compression shorts, you will have some compression at the groin and below to the finish of the shorts. So thinking of my dynamic biker shorts in a 15 to 20, but you will also have that 15 to 20 compression through the body part, but it'll be less at the bottom of the short and less at the waistband. So mostly through we'll say the middle, the body part of the garment. Through the abdomen and midsection is where you should feel it.
Janine, did that answer your question? You guys are free to unmute if you're not getting the answer that you need in the questions.
No, I think that was correct, because I have to wear the thigh high class 3, and then I put the shorts over top. So I'm just thinking, when
yes.
you have the top, the bottom of the shorts is that compression gradient all the way up with the shorts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's working the other way. So you've got your thigh high, and at the top of your thigh high, the groin should be very little compression, should just be enough to hold it, below the groin, right? And then the shorts are coming the other way, but their pressure is through the abdomen or the midsection. And then there's the groin and the short piece that finishes, and that fades away to the bottom.
Okay, right.
So that your overlays should be very little.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
The next question is, what is ISO? You talked about being an ISO company.
Yeah, so that's an international standard of certification, and it's a certification around manufacturing. You can look for it kind of like next to the registered trademark symbol for major manufacturers around the world, and it's a standard of conduct. So it means that for every process, there's a written procedure. So for example, if I have a return, someone wants to return a sock, and it's because there's a hole between the silicone band and the top of the garment. Our standards mean I have to record photos of it. If I've sent a replacement, there's a number, there's a DIN number on the garment that tells me what it was and what the replacement was that went out. I have to fill out paperwork that justifies that if I let the person keep them with the hole, that there was no danger, no medical danger to them, so that they couldn't develop something that would put them in the hospital. So it's a lot of documentation and record keeping around everything we do. Yeah. And it also would allow us, not that we've ever had to, but in the event of a recall, the trail is very clear, who touched every garment. When I turn a garment tag inside on a Juzo product, I can tell you the time. So when it was knitted, I can tell you which machine in our factory it was knitted on. I can tell you which quality control station it went through. And if it's a sewing item, so we added a comfort patch or a zipper, I can tell you which sewing station, which also tells me who. They'll all tell you the who, because we have the shift records as well, but the whole thing tells me who or what touched that garment at every step of the process and who let it out the door if it was wrong.
Thank you.
Mhm.
The next one is from Lynn. Is it possible to get fabric choice options mailed to check out the product feel? She's never felt Juzo, and she lives up island on Vancouver Island. So maybe Kathleen, you could also talk about how you would be able to,
Yeah, how I would do that. So your fitters on Vancouver Up Island, Parkland, the pharmacist there, Jody, would be my most northerly fitter, but I do have a new lady coming on board in Campbell River. So your local fitters will all have fabric swatches or fabric samples that you can go and see. If you are that remote and there's something you would like, you can either ask your fitter to send it up, and typically your fitter asks me and I send it to them and they send it on to you, and it becomes part of their sample cover, their sample package. But we're pretty free and easy with the swatches and the samples from Juzo, so that's not a problem.
thank you. So the next question is flat knit in ready to wear too?
Yes,
Oh,
but that's a great question, but very few items. So for example, I do gloves, and I do gloves in a circular knit called soft seamless. And I also do gloves in a flat knit called Expert, and we do some pre-sized. So those become ready to wear in a flat knit.
Mm.
Yeah. Lower extremity, no. And I'm going to say no longer upper extremity ready to wear in flat knit. They will continue to be made to measure.
Okay. Which
Mhm.
thigh-high compression stockings are better for swimming in, flat or circular knit?
The best ones for swimming are the ones that fit your leg. So if your legs fit into a ready to wear stocking comfortably, then I would wear Juzo soft fabric in a 20 to 30 typically, or a 15 to 20 level of compression. So it's a little bit of how much compression do you need to maintain while you're swimming. So tell me the why. But my clients who need a flat knit Expert or a flat knit lower extremity garment, well, just get yourself a pair for swimming, and that is what it is. They're going to weigh or feel in the water pretty similarly. The flat knit will give you a higher, without sunscreen, will give you a higher UV protection because the knit is tighter, right? We talked about not being able to filter light through the weave. So a flat knit is a snugger weave, less light can get through, so less sun exposure if you're wearing these babies to the beach.
okay. So I have a question then. For circular knit and flat knit, like the 20 to 30 in both of them, the flat knit would be better compression, better, stronger.
So a 20 to 30 circular knit is equivalent to an 18 to 21 flat knit.
Oh, okay.
I could dig through my files now and pull up the chart, but there's an actual little chart that will give you the corresponding levels of compression. So yeah, so 18 to 21 in a flat knit is equivalent to a 20 to 30 circular knit. So if you were going to swim in Kathleen's soft pantyhose, then it would be a 20 to 30. But if you were going to keep your usual Expert flat knit on, then class 1, 18 to 21 would be fine. To me, if I think of swimming, I think I would prefer the flat knit, because the Expert for us is what we call a waffle weave. And the waffle weave allows maximum airflow, which also means it will drain the water out faster. While the soft, well, think of soft like little McKenna there. So my little gal there is wearing a soft arm sleeve. That's more like a leggings material, right? So think of opaque leggings, and those tend to be heavy and soggy, right? They hold the water more so. So take them out, wring them out, they'll probably dry quicker, but I don't know anybody who's taken their stockings off on the beach, wringing them out and putting them back on. So for practical, so from my perspective, I would wear the flat knit because I think they're going to drain out quicker and they're going to provide better sun protection for me. But they are going to feel a little heavier in the water because they're heavier and they're going to hold the water. The afterwards, though, I would choose them because I think the after is a better deal.
And does the salt water or the chlorine water hurt the fabric?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so chlorine is chlorine, right? It's eating
Right.
everything. So get the hose or get some clear pail of water and rinse yourself off as quick as you can for either. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Great.
salt, yeah, salt is corrosive as well, right? But you're probably not going to lounge around for 8 hours at the ocean. So,
Okay.
So there's another question from Janine. Janine had some great questions here. What causes the top silicone band rolling or folding over?
And thigh high. Yeah.
Well, clearly it's my competition and the quality of their silicone band isn't as high. Says Smarty Pants. So a couple of things. Skin changes, poor fitting, poor silicone band, your own skin shedding and preventing the silicone band from sticking in place. Okay, nobody wants to hear that they all shed like, lizards, but there you have it. A quick fix for that is vinegar. So vinegar is good for a couple of things, actually. People who tell me they have irritation or redness, I'll say soak your silicone band overnight in a half a cup of water, warm water and vinegar. Because what it does is it takes away what a silicone band is made. It's a stamp or a press. And there can be, at a microcellular level, silicone goo left behind. But again, if you have lymphedema or you have other issues, you probably have hypersensitive skin, and it's not unreasonable to think that things are going to feel or affect. So you get rid of the extra goo. Nobody likes being told that they're too salty or too high in alkalinity, but that's typically what it is. It's you, not me, Taylor Swift there. So when we put the vinegar on, vinegar is a neutral pH. No one is allergic to it. So it also, when it's pressed against your skin, helps reset the alkalinity between you and a garment and can help it fit more comfortably. But it's also a great cleaner because, again, no one is allergic to vinegar because of the neutral pH. So it's a great cleaner to get all your scaly bits off your thigh high. But it'll be those things. It'll be a poorly manufactured band. It'll be not properly sized when the measurements were taken. Remember too, my lovely lymphedema clients, which way is the wind blowing? Did you have a little salt today? Like, you change a little bit, right? So sometimes that can affect just what the band is doing that day as well.
Wow, that's great answers.
But I'm always fine to FaceTime if you want to show me your thigh highs and what's going on there. Sometimes your band needs to be a little wider, instead of a 3.5 centimeter, maybe you're a 5 centimeter candidate. Again, it depends on your leg and what's going on there that I need to see.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question is from Roger. The custom Jovi Pack in a boot lower leg was recommended for me. Do you have a similar product or an alternative?
No.
Okay. Sorry, Roger.
Sorry, Roger.
Thanks.
Okay, the next one's from Lynn. What do you have for nighttime use for a full single leg? Is LE lymphedema? Yeah.
Okay. So we have just come out with a sleeve for the upper extremity, and I would imagine that very shortly Juzo will be announcing something for the lower extremity to match. And it too will be based upon my soft compress. So that is our bandaging, which is foam channels covered in cotton that creates a high-low pressure, right, to move lymph gently out of the limb. At this time, if you really just love Juzo and soft compress, I would sell you a bandage roll, and I would just say use the bandage roll of soft compress on your lower leg. But at this time, I have a universal soft compress leg, but I don't have the night garment yet, as I think you're thinking of it, and as I would like us to bring it to market, and I'm hoping a little later this year.
And you'll let us know, Kathleen, when it does come out.
I will. I am so thrilled with our night sleeve. It's so effective. It comes with some nice bells and whistles. And I got to say, in the Bring Cash province, the price is right. So
Bring cash. I haven't heard about that.
BC, Bring Cash. Haven't you heard that? Says the redneck from Alberta. But actually, I was born in Toronto, so I have nothing to stand on. Nothing.
The next question is from Beth. Since flat knits are made in Germany and more expensive in that market, are they better?
So flat knits are not made in Germany. Primarily our flat knits are made in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. We manufacture the whole process. Are they higher in quality? No, they're different, right? Because they're a higher level of containment for limbs that really need it. But circular knit garments, I do custom circular. We're the only manufacturer in the world that can knit you custom circular. So little McKenna there at that age and stage, her glove and arm piece, that's custom. We knit for dwarfism, right? A lot of pediatric or vascular conditions where you're just littler. Did she need a flat knit fabric? No, but from what was previously available on the market, that might have been all that was available, right, to a child was a flat knit. We do the flat knits pediatric, especially for primary lymphedema, because it allows us to get that higher level control on the limb while the medical team is trying to evaluate where it's going to go, because you just don't know, right? Well, this crowd, I would say, is mostly made up of people who have developed lymphedema later in life as a result of a traumatic incident, right?
I don't know everyone's story here, so
We don't. I can guess. I can scroll through the names.
probably don't. Okay.
So
Another question here.
not more or less, just different. So it's just really important to choose a compression level and a fabric that fits you where you're at now, so that we always have somewhere to go as you age, as gravity has its run at you, as aging and the body, we all deteriorate. I mean, I know I'm about 14, 15, but it's all going to go sliding downhill. So we want to give ourselves room to evolve and have somewhere to go with who we are and where we're at, on our journey.
We've got about 3 more questions. And then if anybody else has questions, please keep adding them to the chat. Is there anything just for a foot? Thinking about the summer when I want to go in the water on a beach, I would take the foot off and then just have the ankle to the top of the thigh.
Yeah, so we do something called a foot portion. And a foot portion is like a glove, but for the foot. And the ready to wear ones would end about the arch of the foot. But you can get a custom foot portion, which could end a little farther back if you needed it. But typically with the foot, we're really just getting the fluid out of the toes and out of the arch and the instep. And then we're good to go. You could wear those. You could wear one of those. Absolutely. And then you could have open toe socks, or if you were a candidate for our leggings, you could wear leggings or nothing at all.
As long as your foot doesn't swell then, right?
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, the foot portion, it does each digit, each toe individually. So looks great with Crocs and also flip-flops. Yep.
Thank you. I was not aware we could wear compression stockings in the pool. I thought the compression caused by being in the water was good enough. Why should I wear my compression in the water?
Well, Juzo has never said one should wear their compression in the water, but I can see the case for it, right? Because we're trying to maintain the limb at its most reduced state for as long as we can in the day, as often as possible, as many days as we can tolerate wearing our compression. So that's what that does. So yes, the pressure, hydrotherapy is marvelous. It is just marvelous. But just imagine you're getting a little extra lift if you're able to wear compression in the pool. Maybe, you don't love it, but maybe you could tolerate less compression. Maybe you could have a pair of 15 to 20 leggings to wear in the pool, right? Because at least you're doing something. So again, look at the different manufacturers and what they offer. Some of the manufacturers offer even just what I call a calf sleeve. So it's an open foot, right? Nothing on the foot, and it runs from the ankle to behind the calf. Even the sports stores will sell them as a sports sleeve. That might be all you need in the water or can tolerate. For us at Juzo, we do leggings. I don't do a sports sleeve, but I do leggings or open toe, stockings or thigh highs or pantyhose. Yeah.
Thank you,
Something is
Kathlene.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
Something is better than.
Janine has said why she wears one and I wear one because from my point of view, I don't have to wear sunscreen on my arm. And then if I'm in and out of the pool in the heat, it protected me. And I did not even put sunscreen underneath my sleeve when I was in Portugal, and it protected me.
I don't do that either. I don't find I get sunburnt at all. My other leg gets brown, but the one with the stocking on doesn't get
Yeah.
hardly any sun on it.
So that's the whatever you talked about was you can't see through your garment.
Right.
So Janine
Yes.
also said, when you're at the beach for the day, it's hard to take the wet compression stocking on and off. So if you're in and out of the water, that would be the other reason.
Mhm.
To leave it on. Yeah, just let it ride.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Lynn had another question. Are the leggings custom?
The leggings are ready to wear. So you have to be able to fit in our ready to wear sizes. Now, and we won't go above 20 millimeters of mercury pressure. And that is because edema or lymphedema will always migrate to the area of least resistance in the body. So our concern at Juzo is if we gave you a 20 to 30 legging, we run the risk that instead of pushing up, even though it's gradient knit, if you're at risk and you have lymphedema, we run the risk of that edema going the other way, that it doesn't go up towards the thighs and the groin, that it pushes down and out to the toes. When we do 15 to 20, we still have medical efficacy in the product, but the risk to the foot is less. And different manufacturers have different schools of thought on that, but that is the Juzo position. So if you need a higher level of compression and you want leggings, I would just say have a look around and see what else might be available on the market, but it won't be a Juzo product.
I have a question. I was in Palm Springs recently and I'm a lymphy newbie. And I noticed that even though I was in the sun and it wasn't really hot, and I have an arm lymphedema, I felt like it was cooking as I was in semi-sun. So what do you suggest? Since and it wasn't even hot, it was only 15 degrees down there, which was a bummer, but I could feel like my arm was sort of cooking.
Like a sausage, right? Yeah. You're
like a what?
Like a sausage in a casing.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't have Juzo, I had Medi. And so since I got back, I got a oh gosh, I got not a garment, but I got a shirt that would be UV. So like, I'm concerned, like I only got my lymphedema after 25 years of breast cancer. I got it 25 years later.
Wow.
And fortunately it wasn't sooner, but unfortunately I got it. So I'm wondering, what should I be doing? Is that good enough now that I have this shirt that is UV protecting me? I didn't know about putting the sunscreen on prior to going out in the sun and donning my compression sleeve. So does that make sense?
That all makes sense. So I don't know which fabric you had from Medi. So first of all, I would say it is possible. I'm not 100% sure, but it is possible that natural rubber was the elastomer in your sleeve.
All
So that's cooking in rubber, right? So you're cooking in a rubber casing that might contribute to it. Even a Juzo sleeve, it is lycra or latex in there. So there is going to be some warmth created by the elastomer. For us, again, when I talk about that double covered yarn, we're trying to hide the elastomer, which would also protect you from the sun. That's a piece of it, quite likely, whatever the construction is of the sleeve. But I highly recommend, so Mark's Work Warehouse, not outrageously expensive. They have some great UV clothing. Even a white, very flowy blouse. Like, you want the airflow and you want
Yes.
the reflective properties.
I got
Colombian
that.
or
I
Merrill,
bought a few off of Amazon that like nice
Yep.
shirts and stuff.
right?
But I was concerned because I'm new to it. It's not even summer. And I was there in Palm Springs at only 15 degrees. And I thought, holy Hannah, ooh, this is really hot. And I wasn't even in bright, hot sun. So, okay.
I think you get used to it because I was in Australia up in Cairns and it was 33 degrees with humidity. And I have a class 3 flat knit thigh high and I was a little hot, but you get used to it. And so I
Okay.
wasn't so bad, even though it was so hot out.
Well,
I
it
can-
wasn't even hot in Palm Springs. Unfortunately, I was like, oh my God, it was only 15 degrees. It was nicer than in Vancouver at the time, but
But
not
for
what I
we paid
went to
for
Palm
go.
Springs
That's
for.
right.
Leanne, I've had lymphedema for 15 years and I didn't wear my garments initially because I thought, oh, this is hot or it's whatever. I now wear mine all the time and I'm just used to it. So it's also like what Janine says is you do get used to it.
Okay.
Mine are custom. I don't know, about the breathability of the one that you're wearing, but honestly, if you've got it now and you've already done the reduction phase,
Yeah,
please,
I've done that.
please wear the compression. Don't
Well,
not
I wear mine from the time I get up to the time I go to bed.
good because
Good.
I didn't really wear it regularly my first 5 years and I could get it down to I could get it down then, but now I can't completely get it all the way down.
What
more-
can't you get down? I don't understand.
So what happened is my swelling went from mild now to medium. And so over time, if you don't compress it, the protein rich fluid could turn more to fat. And then also some of the lymphatic vessels may not work as well. And they also say when you age, as
Wow.
you get older,
Yeah, I'm
your
older.
your lymphatic system isn't as effective. Like I've noticed, and this is a good question for Kathlene, that now my legs are, my feet are swelling a little bit. I do not have lymphedema in the legs necessarily, but as I'm aging, I do. And now I'm like, where do I start with a compression garment for that?
Yeah, it happens. It's a progressive disease. The longer we have it, the more we swell. And it goes down that path. And I think when you first are diagnosed the first year, you
Hi,
notice the
Willa.
heat a lot more.
Mm.
Hi, Leanne.
Hi, Willa.
But I think you're not used to the garments and you feel the heat a lot more. The first year you've got lymphedema, it's like the first summer is not fun at all unless you have
Not
a good air
looking forward to
conditioner.
it.
Air conditioner. But having the shirt that protects, the SPF protection in the clothes does help.
Yep. Jackets. Yep. There's more and more in that vein all the time. And where it used to be, quite expensive, it's moving into the realm of affordability for all of us.
Yeah. You can pick up those like the rash shirts, they call them, which is protection for your arms and that when you're swimming. When I go swimming, I've got an Under Armour thing with a hood on it. And I put it on, and that way the arms are protected, everything is protected, and I don't get burnt because I burn like a lobster.
Yep. Yep. You'll find them Sport Check. You'll find them Mark's Work Warehouse, even Walmart starting to bring in, through the Under Armour line, the Reebok line. Just I would say at Walmart, keep your eyes open because they disappear as fast as they come out. But definitely options. So yes, you could spray with water. I saw that in the chat. That all, ice cubes always makes us feel better. For swelling in the lower legs, Sandy, to go back to what you're saying, well, you may not have lymphedema in your lower legs, but your whole circulatory system is compromised now, right? And gravity is pulling all the time. So like my clients with vascular or venous disease and that constant edema, or who have had a deep vein thrombosis in the calf, lower leg compression is good for all of us. That was where it all started, was for health, circulation, and if you're traveling, if you're going to come and see me in Calgary, and you're going to come through the mountains and change elevation dramatically. Even compression socks, not even, but compression socks in a 15 to 20 range, which you can find not so expensive. They're done typically by shoe size or height and weight, but a 15 to 20 compression would be a great place to start prophylactically for your lower extremities. And
Thank you.
typically that's what I wear every day. But if I'm doing a trade show, I take it up to 20 to 30 because I'm just standing, right? Just standing the whole day. Mhm.